Parallel lines. We say that two lines are parallel if they satisfy these three conditions. First condition is they lie on the same plane. They lie on the same plane. If the first line is in the horizontal plane, then the second line this should also be on the horizontal plane. The both lines should be in the vertical plane, or they both should be in the curved plane. The second condition is the distance between these lines at every point should remain same. And the last condition is they do not intersect each other. For example, you need to see examples so that it should be clear in your mind. So I am going to draw two lines over here. As you can see, the both lines are lying on same plane. They are on a horizontal plane. So first condition is satisfied. Second condition is distance between these lines remains same at every point. So if I take these 2 points, the distance between them is same. If I take these 2 points, distance between them is again same. But when you draw these lines in such a way, they both are lying on the same plane, but the point is the distance between them at every point is not same, which means they are not parallel. The third condition is they should not intersect each other. If you proceed these lines, they will not intersect. But if you proceed these lines, they will intersect somewhere at any point. So these are not parallel lines, these are parallel lines. For example, you need to see the lines of these boards. Both of the lines are lying on the vertical plane. They are not intersecting each other, and the distance between them remains same. So if my first line is AB and the second line is CD, symbolically we show that AB is parallel to CD. This is the symbol to show any two parallel lines. Next we are having transversal line, a line which cuts, or you can say that intersects the parallel lines. That's called transversal line. As you can see that I have drawn a parallel line over here. So I'm going to draw any transversal line over here. So transversal line can be like this. EF. This is my transversal line which is cutting a pair of parallel lines. There can be more than two transversal lines which I have drawn. There is another one transverse line, so there can be more than one transversal line which will cut down parallel line. So next we are going to discuss some angles which are formed by parallel lines and a transversal line. First I am going to draw a pair of parallel line on a horizontal plane. My first line is AB, which is parallel to CD, and there is a transversal line EF which is cutting there, which is intersecting the pair of parallel lines. As you can see, there are many angles which I am going to name them as A, B, C, D, E and F, G and H. So first I am going to discuss corresponding angles. When you will see the figure, you will see that A and D are corresponding. So angle A and angle D are corresponding. Next one we are having angle B and angle C are corresponding. Angle G and angle E are corresponding. Angle H and angle F are corresponding. So we are having many corresponding angles over here, which are A and D, B and C, G and E, H and F. So we are having 4 pairs of corresponding angles. Next we will see the alternate angles. For alternate angles, again you need to go back to the figure. Alternate angles B and G and C are alternate angles. H and D are alternate angles. Angle G and angle C are alternate angles. Angle H and angle D are again alternate angles. Next I'm going to interior angles. For interior angles, angle G and D are interior. Angle G and angle D are interior. H and C are interior. Angle H and angle C are interior. Angle G and angle H are interior. Angle D and angle C are interior angles. We are going to write a very important note which we will use in our exercise as well. First one is corresponding angles are equal. As you can see from the diagram, we have said that angle A and D were corresponding, which means angle A will be equal to angle D. Angle B will be equal to angle C. Angle G will be equal to angle E, and angle H will be equal to angle F. Second note is for alternate angles. Alternate angles are also equal. From the diagram I have told you that angle B is alternate to angle D, which means they both will be equal, and angle A is alternate to angle C, which means they both will again equal. The third and the last note is about the interior angles, that interior angles are supplementary, which means they will add up to make 180 degrees. Angle G and angle H, they both are interior angles, which means they will add up to make 180 degrees. Angle D and angle C are also, angle D and angle C are also interior angles, so they will also be supplementary, which means they will add up to make 1. Exercise 10b, question number 1. In question number 1, you are given with the two pair of parallel lines. AB is parallel to CD. AB is parallel to CD, and there are two transversal lines. First transversal line is PQ and RS. In the first part, you are asked to find the two pair of equal corresponding angles. So need to find two pair which are corresponding. So first one I am going to find is AWP is corresponding to CYP. So first part is AWP is corresponding to CYP. AWP is this angle which is corresponding to CY and P. This is the first pair. For the second pair, I am going to find this one and that one. BWP and BWP is corresponding to DYP. If they are corresponding, then it is obvious that they will be equal. In the second part, we need to find two pair of equal alternate angles. So this for which I am going to AWP. This angle is alternate to this one, which is DYP. So AWP is alternate to DYP. This is the first pair, and the second one I am going to alternate these two angles, BWP and CYP. BWP is alternate to CYP. In the third part, you are asked to find pair of interior angles which are supplementary. You already know that interior angles are supplementary, so no need to write this supplementary. So third part is interior angles. So I am going to AWQ. Q is supplementary to CYP. So these two angles and these two are supplementary. These are interior angles, so they will add up to make 180 degrees. This is the first pair. We have to find two pairs. Second pair, which is interior, is BWQ. BWQ is supplementary to DYP. These two angles are interior, so hence they are supplementary. In question number 1, B part, you are asked either BWQ which is the angle BWQ. This is the angle BWQ equal to AXR. So AXR, this is the angle AXR. So they have asked you either this angle and that one is equal or not. If yes, then we have to explain, or if no, then we again have to explain. So the answer is BWQ angle is not equal to AXR because the given lines PQ is not parallel to SR. If the given lines PQ and SR are parallel, then we can say that these two angles are equal because these lines are not equal, so hence these angles are not equal. In the C part, you are asked the sum of DYP and CZR. So the DYP, this is DYP, and CZR. Either these two angles are supplementary, either they add up to make 180 degree. So the answer is no. DYP plus CZR does not equal to 180 because again the reason is same. PQ and SR are not parallel. Hence we cannot say that these two angles are supplementary. Question number 2. You are given that AB is parallel to CD. We have to find the value of unknown. This is the A part in which there are many unknowns, A, B, C and D. We have to find values of all these unknowns. Starting from the solution, as you can see that B and 117 degrees are corresponding angles, hence they would be equal. So corresponding angles, so they will be equal. So this is the value of B. B and A, B degrees is equal to A degrees because they are alternating angles, hence they also will be same. The value of B is 117 degrees, which will be the value of A. As you can see that A and C are interior angles, which means they will add up to make 180 degrees. So interior angles. The value of A is 117 plus C is equal to 180 degrees. 117 is being added on one side of equation, so on the other side it will be subtracted. After subtraction, the value of C comes to be 63 degrees. The value of D is 78 degrees because these are corresponding angles. So all the values are here. Question number 1B part. In question number 1B part, you can see that AB is parallel to CD and there is a transversal line, this one BC, and E will be equal to 31 degrees because they are alternate angles. Also, this is also a transversal line which is intersecting these two parallel lines. So F will be alternate to F 35 plus 31 degrees. So the value of F will be alternate angles 6 and 6. So value of F is 66 degrees and the value of E is 31 degrees. Question number 2, C part. In the C part, you can see that the line AB is parallel to CD and there are angles G, 69, 83 and 8. There are two unknowns G and H. We have to find the value of G and H. You can see that H is equal to 69 degrees because AB is parallel to CD and this is the transversal line. So H will be equal to 69. You can say that because they are corresponding angles, and G will be equal to 83 degrees because there are alternate angles. Question number 2, D part. In the D part, you can see that the line AB is parallel to CD. There are two unknowns I and J. We are given with an angle 75 and 60 degrees. You can see that J is equal to 60 degrees. If these are two pair of parallel angles, this one is the transversal line. So J and 60 are alternate angles, hence they will be equal. So when you see this triangle CEA, in triangle CEA, you all know that sum of angles in a triangle is 180. When you add all the angles inside a triangle, you get 180, which means I plus J plus 75. These are three angles inside the triangle, so they will add up to make 180 degrees. The value of Ij is 60 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. So when you add 60 and 75, you got 135 is equal to 180 degrees. 35 is being added, so on the other side it will be subtracted. After subtraction, the value of I comes to be 45 degrees and the value of J is 60 degrees.